Welcome to the most classic of classics, Sonic the Hedgehog. Why is it a hedgehog? No idea. Why is the hedgehog blue? Also no idea. Why does the hedgehog run like the Roadrunner from Looney Tunes? It's time to stop asking questions and just embrace the game. Because this game is about going fast. It's basically the Ricky Bobby of side-scrolling adventures. How do you play, you ask? Simple. You run. You run around. And by around, I mean literally around sometimes. Also, you jump. In fact, you only use the directional keypad and one button. Sure, Sega Genesis gave us 3 buttons, but screw it, let's only use one of them. What do you do while you run around? Simple, you collect rings. Definitely not coins, because those are under copyright. You bounce on robots and free happy woodland creatures inside. All to then jump at the evil Dr. Robotnik and blow up his weird orb ship to save all the woodland animals. I think. Maybe. Honestly, this game's super fun, and I don't really care what the plot is. So buckle up and let's enjoy ourselves some Sonic the Hedgehog.
Retro Recall.
Welcome back to Retro Recall, the show with more nostalgia than the number of rings a hedgehog can put in its... John, where does a hedgehog carry its rings?
It's not important.
Okay, yeah, so welcome back to the show. I'm Tom, this is John. Every week, John makes me play a game from our youth to see if it holds up, and then I give him a challenge to do something in that game, and the loser of the challenge has to play a terrible game at the end of the episode. But this week, we're diving in, of course, to a new game. John, what are we diving into? What game from our youth that we both will absolutely love and not have anything terrible to say about?
Today, we're taking a trip down memory lane to the sound of golden rings falling everywhere around us. Sonic the Hedgehog. It also has a movie, I think. Actually, no, I know it has a movie. I actually know what happens in it because I haven't seen it. Movies?
Yeah, it's there's a few of them. Yeah, movies. I think they're working on like the 15th at this point.
But
that's like recent
40.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going back to the OG stuff, though, right? The original one.
We're going to be going back to the original Sonic the Hedgehog, which is an odd game when you go and play it again. But I thought it was still fun. We'll see.
Yeah, parts of it. But we'll get there. I'm going to... Okay, so the visual gag for anybody listening on the audio. I'm going to start drawing something on this card, and I'm going to put it on my head later, just so everybody knows where to aim. Keep going, John.
All right, so let's talk about what Sonic the Hedgehog actually was. So you're a super-powered blue hedgehog. You're able to accelerate and run super fast, and you can jump on things with your back spikes to break them up. You also have to collect rings. I mean, I assume the rings are because Mario had coins and Nintendo is notorious for intellectual property law. So rings it is.
Yeah, so if you just put a hole in a coin, it turns into a ring, right? And that's good enough to be different so you don't get sued.
Yeah, Getting sued was definitely one of the goals here. The game's also a little bit odd because the whole purpose is to catch the evil Dr. Robotnik and stop him from his plan to steal the 6 Chaos Emeralds, harnessing their power. Which apparently is something I was supposed to do in like the big spinning ring game mission. And I didn't know that till after I'd played the game, not in my youth, but played the game to write this episode. I had no idea that we were supposed to collect some emerald thing. Meh. Anyway.
Yeah, it's like a whole side thing. Yeah, it's weird. I didn't know that existed until I saw somebody else play years after I played this one because they were super into Sonic, but that's a whole other thing. But also... Sonic Sneak Attack fact! I got a crazy fact for you while we're talking Sonic stuff. You mentioned Dr. Robotnik. Did you know that that's not actually his name? Well, not in Europe. Do you want to guess what his name is in Europe? We live in the US. He's Dr. Robotnik here. But originally he went by a different name. And you're never going to guess it.
Oh, yeah. God. I was getting in trouble if I tried to guess something. I was going to guess something oddly German that would get me in trouble. I'm sure there's a German translation for it, but he was originally Eggman. Oh.
What? Yeah, but you've probably heard the term Eggman used and didn't know where that was. That's Dr. Robotnik, Eggman. They're the same thing.
That's a terrible name.
It's a terrible name.
That's a terrible name.
Sonic used to have another name too. He wasn't always Sonic, but I'm going to tell you about that later with another sneak attack fact.
But here, a terrible name. Just objectively.
It's Dr. Eggman.
No one's
Robotnik is
Dr.
better.
Eggman. Oh
yeah, unless you're a chicken, maybe. I don't know.
It sounds like the name you'd It sounds like the name a bad marketing company would give to some major egg producer to run national campaign of advertising. Like it would be, oh, I'm Dr. Eggman to talk to you about the benefits of egg yolks. Like that's what it sounds like.
Right. Anyway. I'm Dr. Eggman. Trust me when I tell you about egg yolks are going to make you 3 years younger.
Yeah. Anyway. No.
Yeah. So, okay. Ooh. So here, hit me with some game facts. Hit me with some actual like regular facts, and I'll do some surprise ones again.
Sonic the Hedgehog is rather fascinating looking back on it. Again, I was not even 10. So a lot of that obviously went over my head. But the game was released June 21st of 1991. And it came out of, in 1990, Sega was trailing really far behind Nintendo in market share. And Sega obviously knew Super Nintendo was on the horizon. The Game Boy has just released. They're getting beat up. And originally, they tried this great campaign titled Genesis. It does what Nintendo don't.
Yes.
Trying to use a pun to overcome a massive market share. This failed miserably, and they fired the guy in charge of it. The next thing they decided was that the whole reason Nintendo was so successful was because they had 2 Italian plumbers jumping on mushrooms and turtles. I don't know.
Right. But everybody's fever dream. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Sega decided that they're going to have their own thing and created a blue hedgehog jumping on all sorts of things.
Yep.
With a bad guy who converts lovely animal creatures into evil robots. So they kind of actually managed to copy both Super Mario and Mega Man in the exact same breath.
Yep. Oh, so also, sneak attack fact. Another sneak attack right here. You mentioned he's blue. Do you know why he's blue? Any idea?
No idea.
It's actually very simple. Hedgehogs are not blue unless they're cartoon hedgehogs designed by a company with a blue logo, and they wanted it to contrast with the red of Mario. So they made him blue.
That's a good idea.
Sega, okay. the logo for Sega is blue. There you go.
Because blue's a prime color, right? Your prime colors are red,
blue, and yellow.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. And a yellow hedgehog would have looked weird on those old TVs.
Yep. Yeah, and then it wasn't the color of the Sega logo. So there you go.
It would have come through.
All right. Anyway, get back to it. Moving on.
The game, the cool thing about Sonic the Hedgehog is it actually was a massive success. It overtook Super Mario in sales. I mean, for a bit, and then Super Mario came out, but that's a side note.
Yeah, Super Mario
they did
World.
Get 2 million. Yeah, Mario World, yeah. They got 2 million copies out in their first year, and it catapults Genesis sales. They actually took a first place for a long time in sales over Nintendo, which had never happened before. In a lot of ways, this game probably did save Sega. I don't know if Sega necessarily would have gone under without Sonic the Hedgehog, but they would have been one of those systems that was just getting the leave-overs that Nintendo didn't IP all the way in.
Well, it worked well enough that there was like competition between, like there were kids who were like Nintendo kids and kids who were like Sega kids. Yeah. And there was enough of them for that to be kind of a competition sort of thing.
Well, this launched the console wars, candidly. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I was a Sega Genesis kid. I had Nintendo, then I went Sega Genesis. Doesn't really matter. It just was the way it worked itself out. But my friends had Super Nintendo. It's how it always goes. One of you had one, another one had the other.
I was the Super Nintendo kid, and you were the Genesis kid. Yeah, totally.
These systems were expensive, so you really didn't get to have all of them, which is kind of why we're doing this show, is because a lot of us maybe only played some of these games at a friend's house. So it's kind of nice to be like, that's how that game was.
This guy, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're taking me back to like 1991. I'm remembering the console wars. I remember playing this over at a friend's house. What else was the world like in 1991? What was happening, and what was the actual date? Like, what was the actual release date?
All right. So June 21st, 1991. I'm going to be honest. And we are in, what are we, episode 8 now? 7? I've lost track.
Something like that, yeah.
The idea we had in every one of these episodes was we're going to talk about what the most popular song in America was at the time. And I have hated every single one of these. And that has not fallen apart here, because this time we got Rush Rush by Paula Abdul. Again, no idea what that song is, but pretty sure if I heard it, I would recognize it.
Oh, dude, that's another one I can still hear in my head. Also, Paula Abdul was, for like, I don't know, coming of age young me at like 12 years old or 13 years old, I was like,
yeah.
Wow. Look at her.
Yeah, I don't know. This music sucks.
The music was okay.
The music's terrible. I mean, and the funny thing, I even tried to find a silver lining in this. Like, well, what about maybe some of the music that I like released this time? And there were some great releases in 1991, like Nevermind, Pennywise, the debut, Arise, Black Album by Metallica, but they were all August, October. So in June of 1991, adult John would have hated all of his music options by going to a record store and buying new albums.
Right.
The upside, though, is that this was the middle of summer, so the box office was lit. You've got Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the one with Kevin Costner.
That's a good one.
Quite good.
Yeah, that's great.
Naked Gun 2.5. Not as good as Naked Gun, but still very, very good.
Still good.
City Slickers.
That was a good one.
Another really, really good movie. Yeah. I do believe, I'd have to check, but I believe that was the Billy Crystal's first major debut. Because we always talk a lot about him and Princess Bride. But when he was in The Princess Bride, he'd been on Saturday Night Live. He had some stand-up specials, but he wasn't like the famous actor that he becomes later. City Slickers is what launches that.
Yeah.
But... And people who know me from my other show, the 40K Lorecast, are going to get the irony of what I'm going to talk about here. 2 weeks after this release, you get on July 1st, Terminator 2.
Nice.
Which is a movie I get a lot of grief for because I don't really like.
Oh, it's such a fun film. It's so okay. I get why. Do you like the first one better? Is that the thing?
I think the first one is the best. I like this is what gets me in trouble. I think the third one's better than the second one. And I know people don't like that, but I will die on this hill. Oh, no. I will die on this hill. I agree the fourth one is not good. But anyway, Terminator 2, July 1st.
Okay.
1991.
All right. Well,
another important one is on June 12th of 1991. Boris Yeltsin is the first freely elected president in Russia's history.
Oh, how's that going now?
Go ahead and not comment. Yeah, you know what? We're going with no comment.
Okay.
No comment on the current situation.
Cool. Cool. All right. Yes. Awesome stuff. So yeah. Okay. No political stuff here, but I've got another sneak attack fact for you. I mentioned Sonic had an alternate.
Involve Boris Yeltsin?
I don't think so, as far as I know. But Sonic originally wasn't called Sonic. What do you think he was originally called? If you were just give him a name off the top of your head, you are a
fast rodent.
Close, Mr. Needle Mouse. What?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. That would not have done as well. I feel like they would not have overtaken the Super Mario sales with Mr. Needle Mouse.
Mr. Needle Mouse. It just rolls off the tongue.
I feel like that would sound really good in German. It's probably because it would translate in a weird way to be kind of it'd be a fun word because the Germans will use every word and then combine it into one.
Right.
So I could see it being funny in German or Dutch, it being kind of a fun name.
Yeah.
It could be better than Sonic the Hedgehog, but not in English.
No.
Anyway.
No.
All right, that's enough messing around. Let's get into the game, Tom.
Yes.
And let's start about the what do you really think of the game? As we like to do before.
Yeah.
Good, bad, hilarious. Let's start off with the hilarious. Why don't you explain what you found hilarious about this game?
Okay, so like a lot of these old games, there's some weird and wacky stuff. Like, what even is this world? What are they doing? Like, this is the hill zone. This is the countryside. And yet there are loop-de-loops and all sorts of other geometry that you can run around and turn into a ball, like little tubes that you can somehow just happen to fit in. Like, who designed... Was this world already retrofitted from its original natural state? Like, what is going on?
It's kind of the same with the Super Mario. Why are there tubes? I understand it's an alternate dimension.
Floating blocks.
You're right. Like,
what...
Why does this
That's
get
weird.
invented?
Also, we move very quickly from a natural-looking-ish zone, like the Hill Zone, to a fiery torture dungeon in Zone 2.
Yeah.
Like, real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick. Super weird. Also, you mentioned that weird in-between level thing with the rotating maze. What even is that? That's just some sort of alternate reality.
Yeah, and that's where also I'm supposed to get my diamonds,
I guess, because they're there for some reason, and somehow you go past a little spinny sign or hop in a giant ring, and then all of a sudden you are now in this other place somehow. So magic?
Yeah, and playing weird music too. It's just odd. It is. It's just odd. Yeah.
It's weird. Also, totally get it. Sonic, you're part of the natural world. You're a hero of the animal kingdom. And when you save the animals, they all pop out of whatever device was holding them, but they're all baby versions of something. Where are the adults?
It's super weird.
That's weird.
And how does it work? Is he powering the robots with like the kidnapped children of woodland creatures? Is it how it's, I mean, credit to them. When you blow them up, they're not dead. That's a good thing.
Not dead.
That's a good thing.
But at the end, when you save all of them, you get this really great scene, which I remember vividly as a kid, where you run backwards to the left and there's all the happy little baby animals all running back to their homes, right? But those are just baby animals. Are you now supposed to adopt all of them and take care of them? They have no parents. Are they just going to starve? Do they eat each other? It's the animal kingdom.
Maybe I was like, maybe it's more of an Animal Farm thing.
It gets real dark, right? Like we destroyed
Orwellian.
We destroyed one evil robot making dictator, and now they're just going to be in some sort of weird Orwellian existence. I don't know.
Were there any pigs that we saved?
Yeah, there's little baby pigs. Yeah, there's all. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
Well, you know.
Yep. Also, who left all the rings all over the place? I guess you could ask the Mario question about that too, right? For coins, but rings everywhere. Also, like I mentioned in the intro, where does Sonic hold them? You can have like 100 rings on you. Where do they go? Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a pocket. Oh wait, maybe he has a pocket, like a natural.
Yeah, it's like
pocket.
I mean, or the ring's more of an esoteric thing. It's
or like, maybe he's just tripping on something and just visualizing them, and no one else sees.
He doesn't actually collect any rings. They're just little achievements.
Yeah. Also, like many games of this era, there's an underwater zone, right? You can go underwater. He jumps around, but he doesn't actually swim, right?
No, he just hits the bottom and jumps like a very heavily weighted scuba diver.
Right. Also, Mario can swim, but Sonic can't for some reason. Super sneak Sonic fact here. Do you know why that is? Mm-hmm. I found out why this is.
Can hedgehogs not swim?
One of the game designers thought hedgehogs can't swim, but was wrong. Hedgehogs can swim.
I think every mammal can swim. Right? Not well. Like, my English bulldog sinks, but she tries.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I had a bulldog growing up, and she went to the bottom of the pool, and my dad had to pull her back out. Yes. Yeah. So that's another fun little Sonic fact there. But also, this also feels kind of Mega Man-y, right? You've got like this evil villain making robot things, taking over nature. You got that kind of thing going on. The other weird thing I thought about this, and there's, I know this list is going long, but just go with me here. What is with the little TV sets with like a picture of a ring or whatever, and then you hit it, and then something comes out of that?
Yeah,
but it doesn't even.
TV and you get a reward.
Right. So like, okay, you get a bunch of rings, but instead of like, ching, lots of rings flying out, it's just like a picture of a ring moves up, and then somehow you now have more rings.
Or you get your force field. Yeah,
or a force field.
Makes total sense. I don't know what I'm not tracking your complaints here. This all makes perfect sense.
I know when I break a TV, I always get good things out of it, and then I'm happy I did it. Right. So so there you go. That's my hilarious weird stuff. What about you?
No, I mean, some of them overlap. Like, the truth is, this game makes like 2% sense. Hedgehogs aren't blue. Hedgehogs are not fast. They don't jump on things. They can form a ball, they'll then roll down a hill quickly once they've done it. But it's a video game, so who cares? The parts of this that I really loved was my biggest one is every time the thing I love a lot is the surprise in Sonic's face every time he gets hit. He ooh, and falls backwards as all the rings come out. It's cool. And it's a good animation. Is it helpful? Not really, but in Mario, you just go and get smaller. This is way more entertaining way to lose your stuff. So that's awesome. It's same with the weird face Dr. Robotnik makes every time you hit his weird ship. It's like there's a lot of like visual, when I say visual, I mean literally people's faces in the game, which I thought was really a cool way to do it, as just the way things would pop. When you blow up a robot and the little woodland creature would hop out, it would make almost a face as it came out and would run away. Yeah. I mean, one small note on that though is I did notice that when we were underwater, I could blow up something, and then the little animal would pop out, and then it would run away underwater.
Yeah.
But these are animals that don't breathe underwater, so I
Right.
guess they would drown.
Also, were they even breathing before you even released them?
Oh, who knows? That's here nor there. But the biggest part to me from the hilarious that I actually really enjoyed is, and you mentioned before, is the craziness of the gameplay. You're bouncing on things that launch you into the air. You have loop-de-loops, which, by the way, fun story on loop-de-loop. I had no idea how to spell that till writing the notes for this show. I had to Google. Good old Google helped me spell loop-de-loop. It is.
Is it
it's spelled
loop-de-loop?
phonetically.
Is it
Yep,
DE?
loop-de-loop. Yeah. Loop, DE, loops.
So it's French
still-
for loop of loop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. I was like, how do you spell loop de loop? Anyway, but one of those strange phrases that you use all the time and never spell because it never came up in any essay I had to write as a kid. So anyway, but I think this is what made the game such a hit. Is it made no sense. You're just bouncing and flying and doing all this
Right.
crazy stuff all over the place, and you're just button mashing, for lack of a better phrase.
Well, single button.
Just for fun.
Single button mashing.
Yeah.
Just one
That's
button.
the wild thing too. That's the only one I love, and we'll get some more of that in a minute. But it is quite funny that their premiere game only used one of their 3 buttons. But now that's the hilarious, Tom. Let's talk about things that you actually thought were really good in the game. So
I think you're totally on. I think you're totally on with this. Like the reason why it's fun is because it's fast and the levels don't make sense and you can go all over the place and you get flung all around and you spin around. I think it's brilliant that when you are jumping, you are spinning, which means you do damage to things up or down, which is better than Mario because you only did damage to things when you were landing on them when you were Mario. That makes it like that right there was a great decision, a great design choice, I think.
the inputs of the game are very enjoyable.
Yes, that's on my list too. The air control while jumping, the just the traversal mechanics, all of that stuff is tuned really well and feels really good. The game still looks great. The animation for that time period, the funny little personality they give Sonic, where he's like he gets tired of waiting and then like taps his watch, or like he's on the edge of something and he's like, whoa, I'm gonna fall off. Yeah. That stuff real good. The like lots of colors. They really use this like 16-bit kind of platform, especially for an earlier game, in a way that really showed it was worth upgrading to something if you were just on an NES, right? Like you've got like the parallaxing of the different stuff in the distance. You've got all of these different colors. You have even the animation of like the waterfall in the first level. Like all that stuff looks really, really good. Even the sounds, like I'm not a big fan of the music so much. The music feels a bit repetitive and kind of borders on annoying to me at times, but the sound effects, the picking up the coins, the whoop sound when you hit an enemy, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that was great. It's funny because the music to me, I don't know if I like it or hate it because I played this game so much as a kid. It's just ingrained in my soul.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about like the intro music. Like that intro music comes up, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's the whole thing, and it's like, okay, I got this. Like this, I'm feeling that stuff. But especially as the levels went on, some of the later levels, it's just like, oh, this music is just not great. I wish I could turn it down.
One question for you, because obviously you're the more seasoned music. I listen to music, you make music, so we're very different levels here.
Sure.
I like the addition of the drum hit, because when I think about a lot of the Nintendo, even Super Nintendo, I don't think of a drum hit. Whereas the opening of Sonic has that, like, it's not a snare. Is it a snare where he's hitting something like hitting the edge of the drum?
There's
the bop bop bop. It sounds like they're hitting the edge of the drum.
Oh, like the tick click click click. The little yeah. It's almost like a stick tap. Or like a rim shot or something like that. Yeah, it's imitating something like that.
I know you know this stuff.
Yes.
But I like that. It is because it is, to your point, different. It's different.
Right. And that was something that you could do with 16-bit sound processing that you couldn't do with 8-bit. The reason why a lot of the stuff on the NES didn't really sound like drums is because they had to just find the closest sound they could make that would imitate something that sounds like an impact. So like sometimes you'd hear like a You know, it's like, oh, that's a bass in that's a kick in a snare drum, but it sounds like a thud and an explosion. You know, like So they're imitating drums,
Interesting.
but they don't actually sound like drums. Whereas by 16-bit, you actually can kind of simulate some of these sounds a little bit better. So that part's pretty cool. But also, like, the game isn't super hard. It's unfair at times, and I'll get into why it's frustrating to me personally in the next section. But for the most part, it's not overly difficult, which if you're patient. I feel like if you're patient and once you play a level once or twice to kind of get where you're going, it's not particularly hard. So, and I think that's in its favor. Like, it's not punishing to the point where it doesn't make you want to play it. It's hard enough that if you're into it, you're going to want to continue playing it, even if you have to start over when you lose your lives or whatever. So what did you think?
Enough.
What did you think?
I mean, I really like this game. Playing it again brought back a lot of nostalgia, and I really can kind of see it, especially having played a lot of our other games recently. A lot of them are older and something a similar time zone. I really did appreciate for a 1991 release what this game is. First and foremost, the game is gorgeous. I mean, you were just talking about it. Sega really wanted to show off what their system could do, and they seem to have created Sonic to maximize that, picking colors, screen transitions, kind of everything to make it look really amazing. And this, was done, I think, in an effort to establish Genesis with very heavy air quotes here, the superior system. I do not want to get into a console battle with people because it's really... In reality, it's not really true. Each of the systems, Genesis and Super Nintendo, had their own bits that made them better than the other ones. So if you just grade on whatever curve the other one says, they're the better one.
Well, it's like saying let's talk music real quick. Is heavy metal better than punk? It depends. It depends, right? That's subjective. It's subjective. Like, it depends on what you value in the music. It depends on the band you're talking about. Like they're similar but different in the same way that the consoles are similar and different, but it depends on what you valued. If you valued what the Genesis could do, then you said the Genesis was better. If you valued what a Super Nintendo did, or more likely, if you were 13 years old at the time and that's just the one that you had because your parents bought it for you for Christmas, then that was the one you defended.
And that's the one that you defended. Let's call it. That was the origin of all console wars. I can't have both. So the one that I do have, I'm putting my stake in the ground and saying is the best.
Yeah.
Another key part of Sonic the Hedgehog that you touched on, but I really do want to dive into, is the game's not very hard. I beat this thing all the way through in a little over 2 hours. That was with some levels where I died a bunch.
Yeah.
I think that's really great because Super Mario and many of the Nintendo games this era could take 3 to 4 times that long if you ever beat them. And that's a big if, because I can say in my life, I have beat Super Mario 1 once. Super Mario 2 once.
Yeah.
Super Mario 3 I was a little bit better at because that game was actually easier. I do think Nintendo may have learned their lesson at a certain point there.
Right.
But for Sonic the Hedgehog, new console, they're really trying to push sales. I think it was a really smart idea, especially the first 3 levels. They are borderline easy.
Yeah, you can almost just go to the right and jump, like just randomly jump and you'll make it to the end. Yeah.
And so I'm coming at this more of a sales and marketing standpoint of liking that. That's a really clever way because you go to your friend's house, you play the game, you get pretty far with it. It makes you want to play more of it, as opposed to a lot of the games we've touched on where you get through 1 or 2 levels. I mean, Earthworm Jim, you get to the second level and starts being like, can I actually even get to the 3rd level of this game?
Right. Yeah, we talked about that. And I had that moment where I was just like, I don't even know how to progress at this point. What do I do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I really like that element of it. And another piece too, though, is even though it's short, it's actually still diverse. You have 6 zones. Each of them have 3 subzones. But each main zone is completely different than the one before. This is something I liked about Earthworm Jim a lot, and I see it a lot here. You don't really repeat in the game. Obviously, you've got the same mechanics and same movement, but you don't see the same background. Every time you make a change, all the enemies are different. I mean, candidly, Mega Man 2 is the same way. All the Mega Man are this way.
Yeah.
But I like it. It feels there. Other one I just want to laugh about, though, is, again, one button. The Sega Genesis releases.
Right. Yeah, you get an extra button.
3 buttons on the controller. They gave me 50% more buttons than I had on a Nintendo, and I used 50% less than the ones on the Nintendo.
Yep.
I have yet to play a Nintendo game where I didn't use both A and B button at some point. I'm sure.
Oh, that's a good question. Is anybody listening to this or watching this episode who knows of an NES game where you only use one button, like of the A and B buttons, right?
Yeah, I'm sure Pac-Man falls into that category, or Donkey Kong maybe, but like it's going to be one of those ones.
Yeah.
This is a game in 1991 that had, in effect, one button and a directional pad.
Yep.
But it was still fun because the game never felt to me like a monotonous grind, which you get in a lot of these games where they're playing, oh, I'm playing this level again. All right, here we go. Let's just repeat this down. It always felt a little bit different. And it's probably because there are only 6 zones. I think if it had been an 8 zone or 9 zone or 10 zone game, it would have eventually gotten stale. But, when you beat the game, like, oh, now that's been fun.
Yeah.
Let's dive into, I know Tom and I have because I can see the show notes, Tom has a lot more bad than I did.
Yeah.
My bad's pretty quick. We'll let Tom get his soapbox out and go off about how Sonic the Hedgehog is a good game.
So here's the drawing. I'm putting a target on my head right now because this is going to be it's stuck in my glasses. This is going to be a hot take because I know there are a lot of Sonic fans out there who will die by Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Mm-hmm. I was not a Genesis kid. I had a Super Nintendo. I had to play this at my friend's house, that kind of thing. And what you described, I get why you like it. I get that the diversity adds something to each of the levels and new things that you discover. And absolutely, each of the levels is distinctly different from the previous, or each of the zones, I should say, distinctly different from the previous. They add different mechanics and movement and those kinds of things. My biggest complaint is that playing this game to me is like, you know how you can go to you can rent a really fast car, like a really fast sports car, or you can rent to be able to drive in like an F1 or something. And you can spend like a few grand on a day where you get to drive a car like that around a track. Now imagine you spend all that money, you sit down and they're like, oh, the track's closed today. You need to drive it on these neighborhood streets. That's what every zone after the first zone feels like to me. Because this game was designed, it sells itself on freedom of movement and speed. And you get a lot of that in the first 3 levels because you're going over these loops, you're flying through the air, you're making these big jumps, you're moving a lot. By the time you get to zone 2, it's like, okay, now that we gave you all that freedom of movement, it's time to go slow. And you have to wait for all of these little things to move out of your way. You have to jump on a box and it slowly floats through the lava. The later levels, some of them do some spots where you get to move again, but then they take it back. They take it away. They're like, hey, remember that freedom of movement? Remember why you bought a Genesis? Because you wanted to play Sonic, because you wanted to go faster than Mario. But now for like 80% of these levels, nope, you got to slow down. You got to make little jumps and you just have to avoid obstacles. And it's really no different. And I would even say that from zone 2 on, if you let me play as Mega Man in those zones, I would have had more fun. Yeah, imagine that, because I don't expect Mega Man to turn into a ball and sling myself through the world.
As you say that, it's making me think more and more about playing this game, in that they wrote, according to all the things I've read, it was meant to be a competitor to Super Mario.
Yes.
But it feels very Mega Man.
It feels very Mega Man, right?
Very Mega Man.
And once you realize, and I'm putting words to this for the first time, because this was a thing that I know bugged me as a kid that I couldn't put words to. Like, why did I not enjoy this game once it got past a certain point? And it was because you lose most of the fun movement after the first zone. It's just not there anymore. And you and I have very different philosophies on it. This is one of the things that we were discovering. Yeah. And I think that it's like, we want this just for you, listener. We want this to be as authentic an experience as possible. We want to give you our unbridled responses, our legitimate reactions. And for this type of game, John pushes through, like he did with Mega Man, he pushes through the whole thing and finishes it. I'm at the point, and maybe this is just my experience with the world sort of thing, but I get to the point where if I hit a certain amount of friction and I go, I'm just not enjoying this anymore, then I just nope out. And I noped out. I didn't finish the game. I got far enough to be like, okay, that's what the rest of this is like. I did my research. I watched the rest of a playthrough, but I was like, I'm not going to push myself to keep doing this if I don't enjoy it, because I think there's some percentage of our audience that is going to be like me, and they're going to go have that experience and they're going to nope out. So I got to be real.
No,
you know?
that's fair. No, and that's fair because the truth is we're not here just to say, hey, here's another game you have to go play.
Right.
Candidly, if none of you play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ever again,
Right.
you're not losing out.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but if you want to play it for that terrible experience because that sounds fun to try the terrible experience, then go for it, you know? But for a game like this, if you are more of John's mindset, then you'll probably still enjoy it. If you're more like me, you might not. And that's just kind of how this goes, right? I've got some other little quibbles with the way the movement works. There's so many things that slow you, even in the first 3 levels, you run into a barrier, you stop moving. Getting up to speed again takes a little while. One of the things that drives me the most nuts is originally a benefit to this game design. It's got sloping curves, right? We didn't have sloping curves on the NES. We got those in like Super Mario World because you could, or, you know, Super Mario 3, you could slide down a hill. But you've got these sloping worlds. But when you're Mario and you stand on the edge of a sloping world, and like the, you know, like a 45-degree angle, and you jump up. When you're Sonic and you stand on an incline, you jump the direction the incline is facing, which is often the opposite direction you want to actually go. That's frustrating because I still have the instinct of I'm going slow. If I jump, I'll move faster. And then it just sends me backwards. And then I have to slowly walk up a hill.
But I do like the physics engine behind that, though, because it is kind of a thing of like, if I'm running on a hill and I jump, what's the direction I'm going to jump at? If I'm standing straight,
it makes sense. It makes sense. I get it. It makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's it's frustrating to me, and that's where I have problems with it. But that's most of the bad. If that stuff doesn't bother you, my positives still stand. It's a fun design. It's very nostalgic. The movement is fun when you are moving fast. Even like the gameplay stuff that was fairly difficult isn't that hard. You know, like there are some places, even in like the second zone, where you end up in the lava. Like there was one place, the game wants you to explore, but there's one place where you end up down in the lava, and if you miss when the lava pushes you up to jump off, because I was like, oh, I'm going to explore what if I stayed at the bottom and I see what's further to the right, you just get stuck and die. It's not like the box hits the end and goes backwards. The box hits the end and sinks, and then you have no way to get out of the lava. And so that dissuades me from exploration, which is part of what they're trying to do with the game, because you need to find all the little TVs that give you all the extra coins and all the little secret passages and all that stuff. So I feel like those are things that are counter to the design of the game.
I guess. I mean, I agree. Your concept there is correct. The game is not this like free-flowing exploration speed that you kind of think it is after the first level. I do think it comes back in the 6th level.
It does come back. There are moments where it goes back to that, but it takes so long to get there.
But also the lava level and the underwater level. Yeah.
Also, I haven't played all of the Sonic sequels, but a lot of the Sonic sequels, in fact, some of the ones that are probably more well-regarded, capitalize on that speed, especially the 3D ones. They're all about just going. And that totally makes sense because that's what Sonic's supposed to do.
No, I agree. It's interesting. I hadn't thought of it. I hadn't thought of that perspective. So I'm kind of like making like thinking off into the distance, like, yeah.
But if that stuff, but it's a subjective thing, right? Like if that stuff doesn't bother you, if that's not why you're playing the game, then it doesn't matter. So what do you think? What were your negatives?
My negatives are obviously a lot more minimal. We already touched on the lack of buttons that, I mean, you have direction. I guess you have duck. That's something else I can do. That part's kind of weird. And I do agree that by the end of the game, you're getting a bit of monotony. So the scrap brain level, which is the last level, I was starting to get a little bit of that boredom that I think hit you of like, hey, I need a bit more dynamism in the game. Mm-hmm. And I want a bit more agency over it too. It feels like you kind of get stuck just going a certain direction, but that's all side scroll games. That was one of the knocks on a side scroll game is you go to the side. My only real complaint is I have no idea what's going on in the game whatsoever. I mean, there's no on-screen text at any point. There is no story. If you start the game up, some games lose at the beginning. You turn the game on, you get your opening scene, and you get a little bit of information. All right, like, this is what's going on. Double Dragon 2. We learned about Billy and Jimmy, and that his girlfriend got killed. So now they kill the shadow guy. You get those intros. Sonic the Hedgehog, you let it sit for a second, it just starts playing the first level for you.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
That's
you
all it
have
is.
no idea what's going on. I probably could have read the manual when I was a child. I did not. Now I'm an adult and I had to go through and read the manual and discover pretty quickly, I had no idea any of that was the case. So that part's a little bit odd. Meh. Now, to the game's credit, I also don't care. Candidly,
sure.
I don't care what the plot is. I don't play it for that. I play it for just the kind of button challenge. So apparently I'm aiding woodland creatures and Sonic is their hero. Probably. Who knows?
Sure.
But I'm into it. That's what I would say. It's one of those funny ones. It does come up a lot in some of these older games. You're like, wait, why was I doing that? Am I even the good guy? Who knows? I don't know. But
what if they're evil baby? What if they're evil baby animals? What if they grow up? What if every one of those babies grows up into an evil adult?
Yeah. What if Dr. Robotnik was, harnessing all the woodland creatures to save them, putting them in these robots to prevent some horrible disease from afflicting them all, and Sonic's out there just
freeing them all so they can suffer.
A weird rabbit hole of Sonic being evil. But the truth is, the games like this are meant to be enjoyable. It's the same with, I guess Mario, I'm saving Princess Toadstool. I don't care. I don't. I'm just going to jump and play.
As did most kids back then. It was like,
exactly.
The goal is just have fun. It's not to finish. It's not to complete a story thing, right? It's just have fun.
And that's what our show's about here. Is it's more about, hey, is this game fun? So let's do those questions. So 2 questions as always, Tom. Mm-hmm. Did it hold up? Was the game as enjoyable as you remember it being? And did it bring you back to sitting down? For you had your brother. I'm a pseudo only child. I have a 9-year difference between me and my brother. But me just sitting in front of the TV and enjoying myself.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Okay, well, so as I mentioned, I played this at friends' houses, and I don't think I ever completed it while playing with a friend. I don't think I did that. Although I'm sure I played through most of the sections of the game in the past, and but I didn't have it at home, so I couldn't just keep playing. So there's that. But I also remember not feeling... this was the signature game for the Genesis. If this was going to convince a kid to petition their parents for another console for another Christmas birthday present, this would have been the game that sold that console. And I didn't do that. I had my Super Nintendo, I had my PC, I was happy, and I was happy to visit this on a friend's, and I'm pretty sure I rediscovered the reason for that. So to answer your question, it does hold up exactly as much as it held up for when I was a kid, because I had the same exact experience as a kid again. Yeah. So there you go. So does it bring me back some nostalgia? Absolutely. I remember seeing these graphics for the first time and being like, oh my God. And the song playing at the beginning and being like, oh yeah, that's the Sonic tune. Yeah, I totally remember that. Absolutely. So what about you?
Okay. Yeah, it's similar. I had a Sega Genesis as a kid, so this one, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, maybe 3. I don't really know which ones I played. Played a lot of them, enjoyed them very heavily. So it does hold up. It was fun to go back through and play it again. And it did bring me back to kind of just sitting there and grinding the levels out. But again, the main thing was, this game was fun for me. This gave me joy to play. It's silly, it's mindless, and it's easy. So I'm a big fan.
There you go. There you go. Let us know if you are more in line with John on this or you're more in line with me on this. It would be interesting to see how many people respond in different ways, because everyone has a different experience. So feel free to comment or join our Discord and comment on that. There's links to stuff. But hey, we've got a challenge to do, so don't go anywhere because that's coming up. But before that, let's talk about next week. I've got an idea. I got an idea here, John. I've played a number of games that I've been kind of about lately. Why don't we tackle a game that I'm absolutely 100% on board with? How's that sound?
Let's go for it. What do you got?
All right. How about Street Fighter 2? All-time classic, one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo. I was floored when they announced that thing is that console, or the arcade game that I absolutely loved in the arcade, was somehow going to fit on my home console. And my brother and I, when we got it, I remember I can picture going to Toys R Us to buy it. I can picture the thumbs, the bloody bruised thumbs.
Oh, your thumbs got raw.
Yes.
Also, and your trigger fingers too, because you didn't have to use all 6 buttons.
Oh my God. I had to put Band-Aids on my thumbs in order to keep playing. That was great. So how about we go back and play that next?
Let's do it. But one question. Who's your character going to be?
Oh, dude, Ken. Ken all day long. I'm a Ken player. Weird, I know.
Well, I actually have it. I'm Knuff shirt, but I guess I'll let you have Ken. I don't know. I think I might. I don't know where I'm going to go in this one.
Yeah, what about you?
Not Zangief. It's just impossible.
No.
E Honda's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Guile I was not bad with.
Guile's pretty good.
Blanca's easy.
Ken was my go-to. Chun-Li's good. Chun-Li's good.
I might go Chun-Li. We'll see. All right. We'll see next week when you guys check the episode out.
Yeah.
Simply put.
So go check that out. Help us out. If you're enjoying the show, then do all the things. Look down below. Click the stuff. There's likes and subscribes. You know how that stuff works. Also, join our Discord. Let us know about your retro game experiences, and also check out our other shows. John does the 40K Lorecast and the history of 40K. I've got the Fallout Lorecast, the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, and the Lord of the Rings Lorecast. A lot of that stuff is on audio, but some of those things are also on video. You'll find links in the description underneath the episode, all that stuff. But hey, we're not done yet because we got to talk about challenge, right?
Yep.
And this week, I challenged you on the very first level to get through the level just on one try with the most coins that you possibly could. And so, what were you able to do?
I got through with 74 rings. I could have probably gotten more, but I wanted to make it more of a clean playthrough where I was moving forward the whole time and wasn't doubling back on stuff. So I was able to luckily not get hit by anybody, and ended up with 74 rings. How about you?
Okay. Yeah, I did the same thing, and this was my very first attempt. I just took my first attempt and used that because I felt like that was fair, because the level is so, the level is so easy if I wanted to take all the time and collect all the rings in the world, but you and I were both on the same goal of just once through, get the rings. That's how many we have. 84. 84 rings. So,
God, I hate these games.
So you love Sonic, but you're not going to love this one. Okay, so you know how sometimes we talk about movies from the 80s and 90s that we love, and they show up in the episodes. Remember that one time? Remember that one time you mentioned RoboCop?
No.
Yeah. RoboCop is a wonderful 80s movie. It is a terrible video game.
Oh, it's an amazing 80s movie. I mean, I'm Dick Jones. I love that movie.
The amount of squibs and gore when people get shot in that movie are just ridiculous.
Played not only this game, but a number of them. It's one of the worst series ever made.
Yeah, this is firmly in that realm of people are going to recognize the name, so they're going to buy it even if it's terrible. Yeah. So So have fun. Have fun.
Let's go do this.
We'll be right back after he plays it, and then you'll get to see how much fun he had. All right, John, how'd RoboCop go?
I think I like the movie less now.
Wait, so we didn't ruin the game was so. You just told me on the episode we recorded that this was one of the best movies of the 80s, and now you don't like it as much because the game is so bad.
That was horrible. It's no part of it's well done. I mean, it makes almost no sense. The mechanics are maybe the worst part of it. There's a couple little fun bits, like everyone runs into your punch. That's really funny. These people run at you and they really run into your punch. And it's all right, that's just lame. And then you get the gun, but even just the act of shooting is hard. Everything in the game makes no sense. People shoot through walls and floors, walking up and down things. Total nightmare. Super slow,
right? It's really plotting.
Yeah, it's super slow. It is just awful.
Yeah.
Awful game. There's no reason to make it this bad. And they did. It's just terrible. And the thing is, some of the other games, when I had to play Cliffhanger was worse. It's a lot worse. But Cliffhanger felt like someone had made... What's the Atari game is it Pit Jumper? It's
the one that's like Indiana Jones. Pitfall.
Yeah. Pitfall. So when I played Cliffhanger, it felt like someone made Pitfall and was just waiting to attach it to something else to make it more sellable. And you're like, okay, the game sucks, but it was a throwaway. This one, they put effort into this to make it seem more like RoboCop. And all of the effort was just for naught because the game sucks.
It's so bad.
Just sucks.
So bad.
Do not play. 0 stars. Do not play. I mean, this is like, oh God, just terrible game.
Sometimes a game is bad, and then we have words to describe the bad, and then sometimes it seems like the game is so bad that there's no words. There's just, dear God.
It just felt like, why? Why did you make this?
Well, there you go. All right. Well, hey, Street Fighter 2 next week, so that'll be fun.
That'll be fun. I look forward to punching a car.
Yeah. Why are you? That's going to be in the hilarious section. Why are you punching a car? What's the deal with that?
Oh yeah, there's no purpose for that. Also, Vega. Why does he jump off of a chain link fence with? There's a lot of that game that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
highly enjoyable.
Yeah, awesome stuff. All right, well, let's wrap this up. What did we learn from this week?
That plots don't matter in games, so long as the game's fun.
There you go. Hey, that's a nice one. That's not a weird ending. That's just kind of a nice, good synopsis. All right, we'll see you next time.
Recall.
Robots Radio. Games, lore, stories, community. Just press play.